franchise, and the team played their first few games at the Long Beach Arena before moving to the LA Sports Arena. Later that year, Cook built a new showplace for the Kings at Inglewood, which he named the Fabulous Forum. Cook's plan to attract interest in his hockey team was to acquire veteran players well known to hockey fans. Players such as Hall of Fame goaltender Terry Sawchuk, and to give colorful nicknames to other players such as Eddie the Jet Joyal, Cowboy Bill Fleck, and Real Frenchie Lemieux. To acquire those established players, the Kings traded their high draft picks, a strategy that would curtail their development for years. Attendance was low, which prompted Cook, a Canadian, to say, "There are 250,000 Canadians in Southern California, and apparently they moved here because they hate hockey." While the Kings have had limited success in their history, they have had some outstanding players. Rogie Vachon, winningest goalie in Kings history. Butch Goring, a huge fan favorite. Hall of Famer Marcel Dionne, still the 5th leading scorer all time in NHL history.
Shoots! He scored!
And Hall of Famer Luc Robitaille, the highest scoring left winger in NHL history. Up the middle, Stucco, score! And Luc Robitaille,
I like those uniforms, actually.
left winger in the history of the NHL. He adds to his Hall of Fame credentials. Then in 1988, the biggest trade in sports history brought the great one, Wayne Gretzky, to LA. And interest in the Kings reached an all-time high. While in a Kings uniform, Gretzky passed
Thank you,
legendary Gordie
Edmonton.
Howe as the all-time point and goal scorer in NHL history. Boucher passes into Taylor to Gretzky, he scores! He's done it!
That is not Timo Mussolini, the points thing, and he's getting pretty old.
Kings playoff highlights include 1976 versus Boston. Butch Goring scores in overtime to force Game 7.
Goring moving in, cutting, shooting, Goring! Goring! Wins again and shutting down competition.
1982 versus Edmonton. The miracle on Manchester. The Kings trailed 5-0 at the end of 2 periods, then scored 5 goals in the 3rd period to tie the game, and Darrell Evans won it in overtime.
On the draw, shot by Evans, he's got, oh! Look at him! Darrell Evans wins the game for the Kings!
It is still the greatest single-game comeback in Stanley Cup history, and the Kings went on to eliminate the heavily favored Oilers. In 1993, the Kings reached the Stanley Cup final for the first time.
The game is over! The Kings are 4 wins away from the Stanley Cup!
After a thrilling Game 7 victory over Toronto, the Kings won the first game in the final before losing to Montreal 4 games to 1.
Freaking
And
Canadians.
now the Kings' greatest memories will be of this historic 2012 playoff run, becoming the first 8th seed to ever win the Stanley Cup.
Indeed, a dream realized for all of the Los Angeles Kings and all